Mr. Agnew.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I think the rapporteur has been given an impossible job, personally. Let's look at some of the headings. Active farmer. Well, the member state should take this decision, definitely. And it should be based on, have you got money at risk in the business? Now remember, anyone in receipt of the single farm payment is receiving taxpayers' money. If the member state feels that that individual is on the borderline, they can say to them, you must prove you are an active farmer, let us see your farm accounts. And if you are investing and risking your own money on that land, you are eligible for this payment. It is as simple as that. I also feel that once my country has made that decision, that the individual concerned cannot go running to the European Court of Human Rights to undermine what my government has decided. On the negative list, that is various categories of land that don't qualify. Again, I think the member state should decide this. And any surplus, because let's say that some positive land becomes negative, there's going to be some money saved. That should be put into a Pillar 2 fund. On crop diversification, well, all right, the rapporteur is moving in the right direction, but I question, certainly from my country's point of view, do we need this? There's very little monoculture in Great Britain. A lot of people do alternate wheat and rape, but those people also have environmental schemes. And I would suggest that an environmental scheme counts as a crop. Why shouldn't it? Why shouldn't it? Now, it's interesting, the suggestion on ecological focused areas about a pulse crop will effectively be regarded as set aside. Now, as I see it, that's going to actually hit two birds with one stone, because if you were doing two crops and you've also got to find a third crop and you've got the 7% set aside, well, if you grow peas or beans, suddenly, magically, you've absolved yourself from both problems. However, this might be seen as the WTO might not like this. They may challenge it because they may see this as a hidden subsidy to grow protein crops. I warn you about that. Capping, well, I mean, this is an absolute no-no for my country. We pump money into the European Union. For every £2 we put into this agricultural budget, we only get one back. And for us to be told, actually, you're going to get a bit less back for your farmers, I just think is all wrong. Now, the young farmers, what he suggested on this, I think, is only going to accelerate the movement between a father and a son. I don't think it's going to bring young blood in at all. The very small amounts of money, because they are, when you're looking at setting up a farm, are not going to make a difference one way or the other. I feel that member states should have, this should be voluntary, so I disagree with one or two people here. And I think the only way you're going to get new blood in is to have a scholarship system so that money saved, say, from the negative list, the member state will choose a few farmers and they will set them up properly. It's a way in, social mobility you might call it, but what's been proposed so far is simply fiddling about and will accelerate the movement from a father to a son by a few years, and that's all. I think the whole thing about small farms ought to be voluntary as well. These member states are so different. A small farm in one isn't in another. Of course, this is getting hideously complicated with 28 countries now, and what I really do not want to see is our taxpayers' money in Britain wasted on chasing the mirage of reducing carbon dioxide. I also would just finally like to finish with the fact that there is going to be a dramatic drop in the incomes of lowland producers of suckler beef, etc. This is going to come as quite a shock to them. There may need to be measures to cope with that. Thank you very much.